Good evening, YouTube. This is Kaylin String coming at you with my regular Sunday night dinner. I am pulling up the stream on my tablet. I do apologize for the shakiness at the beginning. It seems like the thing wants me to keep changing my phone position even after I got the orientation set. So I'm just going to go ahead and make some adjustments to my table. So what I have tonight is a 2021 Halal certified US MRE made by Sapaco. These do not have menu numbers. This is the newest one of these that I have seen so far. I don't know if the packaging has changed since these were packed. So the way you know what menu it is just by flipping the ration over, and you can see the name of it on the sleeve. And at least this time the sleeve is not upside down, so in previous ones, and my other ones may be the same, you have to flip it over. But this way you don't have to. This one was easy to open. So this is the Halal chicken stew. Got an orange drink powder, that will be for the drinking jar. Because this has no hot drink option, I have a chai tea from my kitchen. Roasted and salted peanuts, nicely vacuum sealed. Standard cranberries, which I'm happy about because I can't stand the osmotic ones. Oatmeal cookie. And this is the nutritional card for the Halal chocolate pudding, which is what I will be pulling out next. Got the accessory pack with the usual things for these, but there's 2 sugars in there, but no coffee. Then the last thing I pull out of here, the FRH, which I will not be using, but I saved these, and the sleeve. So I will be referencing that for anyone new who comes in. So I'm just going to toss the ration bag itself and this thing into a watering bag, which I'll use as a trash bag. Got my crusher here. Spicy tuna rolls is in the house. Just opened up the drink powder. I like to put the pack pretty far in because those things are notorious for being very, very powdery and they'll get all over. For my delicious mug, I've already put some sugar in it. I did that when I went to get the tea bag. For those who are not in the Midwest, Hy-Vee is a grocery store chain that was started in West Des Moines, Iowa, and it has spread to several other states surrounding Iowa. They also took over what used to be known as the drug town. So now they became just the Hy-Vee drugstore, but most of them are pretty much a mini grocery store. Like the one that is near my mosque, that is one of those, like probably 70% full service grocery store. All of their prepared items like the cut meats, the deli items, those are prepared elsewhere and then just transported to that store from place like the Hy-Vee commissary, which is the facility where all of those things are done. So I'm just going to leave everything in this as it is because there's nothing in here that I really have an interest in using. There's no coffee in here, no creamer, the sugar. I've already got the sugar in my mug for my kitchen. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to go ahead and mix my orange drink because it is a sugar-based drink. It will take longer to dissolve. The smell kind of reminds me of Tang, but it is not quite like Tang. This is not the Carbohydrate electrolyte drink powder. This is just their base model, so to speak, the basic formula. Some menus you'll get the electrolyte drink powder, sometimes not. That could be random what they choose to pull when they're running the packing line, when they're putting the items into the ration bag. I'm going to put that back there. Now I will take this into the kitchen and put it in the pot to heat up, and then I will bring back the kettle for my tea, and I'll be right back. I am back. That can come back here to steep. Prepper for the Ages is here. Curious Pete dropped in. Thanks for hanging out with me tonight for this halal chicken stew. Normally these retort pouches, the tear notch goes across this way, but I am going to cut it along this way because I'm going to put the pudding there. So I'm squeezing, or I could shake it. When I first got a hold of these halal MREs, these halal puddings had a very grainy texture to them. The flavor was fine, but that grainy texture seemed quite odd. But as times has gone by, they have improved. That graininess is not there. That change happened first with the chocolate pudding, and then the butterscotch pudding. That improved later on, but that change is definitely welcome. You get a lot of pudding in this pouch. I happen to like the halal pudding. The Carlos Perry is here. Thanks for dropping in. I'm going to go ahead and open up this oatmeal cookie. I was hoping to get a hiss out of it, but that didn't work. I might be able to get a hiss out of the peanuts. I forgot to put the tear notch in this, so I'm just going to go ahead and cut one in the cranberries. Got all of those out of there. I didn't get a hiss out of the peanuts, but the packaging from these snacks and sides has also improved from when they used to be in the all silver color packaging. That was a lot thinner before, I think, like 2020. A little bit of the pudding kind of went over the side, but I'll call that good enough. I'm just looking at the chat. That really stinks, Pete. It can be a real bugger to deal with stuff like that. Having to bear such a huge responsibility. My parents faced that when my maternal grandmother started to take a health dive, starting to go deaf, starting to have memory loss issues, and then the cancer. Of course, then 4 months after she died, my dad died from cancer. So that was a whole lot for all of us to go through in less than half a year, really. Well, more than that when you consider how long that my grandmother was battling the cancer. There's one chunk in the orange drink that doesn't quite want to dissolve, but I'm kind of eaten on it. There is waffles in the house. Thanks for dropping in. Halal chicken stew is heating up right now. I just took the tea bag out. Now I'm going to go back into the kitchen and get my chicken stew. I am back. I use this to carry my hot mains in. It's just part of my regular cookware that I have here. And I'm drying it off with a paper towel. Very soupy. There we go. There is the chicken stew. It's got diced chicken. It's got corn. Got green bell peppers. Looks like a mushroom. It's almost a soup. It looks like it has rice in it. Seems like everything but the chicken just kind of melts. There's a piece of corn. The corn still has a little bit of bite to it. That's perfectly understandable, Pete. You got a lot to deal with. Yeah, this is Halal certified chocolate pudding. Yeah, it definitely has a different flavor than the protein enriched pudding. That protein pudding, you can definitely taste the protein supplement in there. That was a piece of chicken fat. The chicken is in small bits, but it's like a pulled chicken. That bit of green pepper that I just ate is really soft. There's also a few bits of the red bell pepper in there. David Carlisle, thanks for dropping in. This is a 2021 pack, Halal certified US MRE chicken stew. These do not have menu numbers, unlike the standard MREs or the First Strike rations or the meal cold weather. All of those have menu numbers, but these Halal certified MREs do not have menu numbers. There are 12 in a case. I have not actually bought a whole case of the Halal certified ones, but I would like to do that. I want to see if I get 12 distinct menus in there, or if some of them will be repeats. I'm going to go for some of these roasted salted peanuts. Perfectly fine, because they're in their much better packaging. Had these been in the thin silver colored pouches, they probably would already be rancid by now. Yeah, these are cranberries. These are not the sliced, and these are not the osmotic. I don't like that process that they go through for the osmotic ones. It'd be nice if there was a cracker or something to go with this stew, because everything is so soft. The chicken and the corn are the only parts of it that still have any real texture to them. It has been several years since I had this particular menu. I like the flavor. It would just be nice if everything wasn't so mushy. CarCam 37, welcome. Thanks for dropping in. This is a 2021 pack, Halal certified US MRE. This is put together by Sapaco, one of the 3 companies that packs all of the military rations, as well as they do their own civilian rations. I have reviewed the Sapaco low sodium emergency meals. In fact, I still use that box as my main ration box that I store most of my rations in. I have had a couple of the 8-pack ready meals. Those are done by Ameriqual. And I don't remember what Warnick's civilian rations are known as. Of course, I've also had MRE Star, which is currently running the Pink Spoon campaign. They're selling cases of their MREs with pink spoons as opposed to their usual dark tan spoon. And all the proceeds from the sale of those rations goes toward breast cancer charity that they have selected. And a few other reviewers have received a few of those rations to review. And one is actually going to be giving one away. He put that up in his review video. I've seen 2 reviews of the chicken sausage jambalaya. Or no, it's a gumbo. Yes, a chicken sausage gumbo. And then he got a beef stew menu. He is giving that one away. And then another reviewer has also opened up that same menu. But I think he is going to review the second menu that MRE Start sent him. And although I haven't watched it yet, there's another reviewer that I'm not subscribed to that has also posted a video on one of these Pink Spoon MREs. So I won't get paid till the end of the month. And if there are any of them left, I would like to go ahead and buy a case, but it would be nice if they sold them individually. But there are more of the MRE Star menus that I have not tried as a complete ration. So that will give me a chance to try more of the menus. Oh, okay. Yeah, I have never tried an ever safe ration. I wouldn't mind getting a hold of some of those. I would have to look for those. Yeah, Baxter's is the company that has done them for Canada, and their retorts used to be silver colored with red on them, but now they're kind of this greenish yellow, and they don't have the boxes. But I think you still have the Baxter's information on the retorts for the mains and their desserts. I think just for the heck of it, I'm going to put these peanuts in here. This really doesn't need the salt from the peanuts, but I think the crunch will definitely improve it. MRE Star's site does have halal cases, and they have also have menus listed for the kosher certified ones, and according to the menu list, it looks like those will be La Brioute. They replaced Mile Meals a few years ago for the kosher certified, and they've also done some halal certified, which would also be kosher if they choose to do it that way. Mile Meals had several of theirs which were double certified halal and kosher, and I think the La Brioute ones would probably be the same way. There you go, that's an idea. Of course, if I get a full case of the MRE Star pig spoon rations, I would trade off the pork menus with someone else. Or perhaps do what Readiness Rations is doing. He's giving away the beef stew one. Readiness Rations is a companion channel to Readiness Reviews, and on that channel he reviews a specific type of item that I will not say the specific name of it, but if you go look at readiness reviews, you'll know what I mean. But he did ration reviews on that channel, but then he spun off to a readiness rations channel, and his older ration reviews from his original channel are being reposted on the readiness rations channel. For those who may not have seen those older reviews, yeah, one thing about Warnick is I don't know what they're doing with their newer packaging of the MREs, if they still do not put date codes on the ration bag like Sapaco and Ameriqual do. I think that was stupid of them not to put date codes on their bags. There is a date code on the FRH. Well, I got a bit of a delay here, so it also gave me a chance just to check the delay between my phone camera and what appears on my tablet screen. This chai tea has spices in it, a little bit of cinnamon, a little bit of clove, maybe a little black pepper. Not too much of the black pepper, but some spice tea recipes may involve the black pepper, and sometimes there may even be bay leaves in it, or there may be nutmeg in it, but this Hy-Vee brand chai tea bag is something I really don't see from other brands. I see all kinds of flavors from, say, Bigelow and Tetley or Celestial Seasonings, but the only other spice tea that I have seen is the one that I get from Halal Groceries. I call it tea masala. And it has a slightly different spice blend. It's very close to this one, but I really do enjoy both of these. Nothing like that. I have yet to see a shelf-stable version of the Hero in any ration, but what you do get in some of the mains is you get lamb. You don't get it in any other US MRE menu. The Halal certified MREs are the only ones where you'll get actual lamb. There's a lentil stew with lamb. There's a jalfrezi with lamb. There, I think there's a lamb stew. I'm just going to put the rest of these little peanut bits in there. Then there's this chicken stew. There's a couple of beef menus. There are a couple of vegetarian menus. And then there are 2 breakfast menus with a prepared wet pack oatmeal. Sometimes it's just not possible to catch up. If I've been gone for several days, I just don't even bother. Like when I've gone to the lake for the annual family trip, signal out there is spotty at best, and my hotspot really doesn't help much. Now, last month when I was at the White Eagle Multicultural Powwow, signal was better, but I was so busy either doing the kids' crafts or I was filming performances when I had a break in the craft action. I still missed a few of those, but others were able to film the ones that I missed, and they are put up elsewhere. The people who shot those videos put them on their own Facebook or on our White Eagle Powwow Facebook page, as well as the website. And I told the admins to go ahead and put my videos up. My 2 longest ones I couldn't upload to Facebook, so I just went ahead and put them up on YouTube, and then I posted the links to those videos. But then I thought, I'm just going to go ahead and put all those videos up into a playlist, which is what I ended up doing. So because I had so many videos, it took a while to get them all up. And I'll tell you, they do eat up a lot of space on my phone. I'm surprised I didn't crash it trying to save any. I did upload the fire short. Friday night we had a story time campfire, and I just did a little short of the fire itself. I went ahead and added that to the White Eagle Powwow playlist. But yeah, I was able to take more, and then I shot some pictures as well. So the same with those is the people who are the admins of the Facebook page and the website. They have all of that stuff that they can use for further promotion and just to have an archive of this year's powwow. DeCarlos Perry won that one. So that's who won that. So DeCarlos, Dave, will either try to get in touch with you, or you just go ahead and contact him if you haven't done so already. So you are the winner of his ration giveaway. Of course, Readiness Rations is giving away the beef stew pink spoon MRE from MRE Star. He reviewed the chicken and sausage one today. So you watch that video, he will tell you what you need to do to enter the giveaway to get that beef stew menu. And in the process, whoever wins it will get that pink spoon. Yep, so go ahead and contact Dave. If he hasn't reached out to you already, he may have left a reply to your comment on that giveaway video. And I think it's awesome that you won that particular giveaway. It's something you deserve after all the stuff you've been going through this year. It's been a while since I won a YouTube giveaway, but I'm okay with that. Most of the time, I'm leaving comments just to leave the comment, not necessarily hoping that I would be picked the winner, but sometimes it happens. I was hoping to get up to past 1,500 this year, but because I've had some subscribers pinched, I was over 1,450 some, but I've been sitting at 1444 for a while. I dipped as low as 1441. Now I'm back up to 1444. But when I do pass 1,500, I'm going to have a little something. So I would most likely do kind of a mixed theme with my prize. In the past, it's been mostly like a survival gear and supplies. I may do a mix. I do want to include a ration and maybe some ration related items, as well as some additional stuff to fill out the box. Well, this chicken stew is not far off from that. It just doesn't have any noodles. I don't have a sandwich. Although I could break the cookie in half, put some of the pudding in between the two halves, and turn that into a sandwich, but I don't think I'm going to bother with that. Yeah, Dave, yeah, he gave away, I don't remember what menu it was that he was giving away, but he had picked the Carlos to win it, or at least his random comment picker or whatever he used. And speaking of, look who it is. Dave, there's your winner. Thanks for dropping in. 2021 pack Halal chicken stew. I threw the majority of the roasted salted peanuts in there just for a little crunch, because everything in here but the corn and the chicken basically melt in your mouth, but the flavor is good. I do like that. This is a halal chocolate pudding. The texture is so much smoother in that than it used to be when I first discovered these halal MREs. The puddings used to be grainy, and I think that affected the flavor, but that texture got fixed up several years ago, so I'm very happy about that. And this one, these halal MREs do not have a hot drink option, so I got a chai tea bag from my kitchen. I showed those off in my grocery haul video. So that's what I got in my delicious mug. And here is the accessory pack. I haven't even opened it yet. But you get the spoon, a white book of matches with white tip, get a napkin, which you don't get in the standard MRE accessory pack. You get 2 packs of sugar, but nothing to put it in. You get the rear roll. You got salt and pepper. Pepper should be in all MRE menus. You get the moist towelette. And that's pretty much it for that. Yeah, that's probably a different reviewer who may have had a win or not, or a different giveaway, because there have been some other YouTubers who have had giveaways, but the selected winner never bothered to contact the YouTuber running that giveaway until someone else got picked in the next drawing. So far, I have not had that issue with the few giveaways that I've done. The only issue I had was the shipping cost for one of my boxes because I shipped that burger all the way to Australia. And I would not dare do that now because to ship that same weight, it would probably cost me $100. Easy. And I'm just not going to do that. But the recipient got everything. The box was not messed with. So I was happy about that. I think what I'm going to end up doing next time, the actual package will be for a USA only. And I'll probably do an Amazon gift card code in the email for a foreign winner. I'll just have to figure out how to do that. That way I don't have to pay anything for shipping. I just pay for the balance of the gift card and then email the code to the recipient. I don't know about currency conversion, how that works. I really do like these cranberries. Straight up cranberries. No osmotic funkiness. I like that. We understand, Dave, you've had to deal with some stuff yourself. If there's a way that I could help you out, I would, but I can't do anything like that at this time. I only get a deposit once a month, other than when I do get a payment from YouTube for my ad revenue. But I should get one of those before the end of the year. At least, Dave, you're putting up videos, so it's good to see you doing that. And I'm glad to see you're getting back into it. Mother Earth Garden Club is in the house. Thanks for dropping in. Halal chicken stew from 2021. These halal certified MREs do not have menu numbers. It'd be nice if they did, but the way these are packaged, all you have to do is just flip the ration over and you see what the main is. I've got 3 more of these in the old ration box. I'll probably do 1 or 2 more of my regular MREs. Plus I got 2 more Canadian IMPs to dig into. I think based on the year those are packed, I will get the Tic Tacs instead of the single mint. I'm hoping that one of them will have a cornbread because I have a US MRE cornbread. I want to do a comparison between the US and Canadian cornbreads. The one time I did have Canadian cornbread, it seemed like it was underbaked. At least that's what it seemed like to me. Went in and broke the cookie. These have cinnamon in them, and I really like that. Gives it a little extra flavor to an otherwise boring cookie. Yeah, and fixed income is going to be even more challenging the longer this U.S. government shutdown lasts, because I have seen online and heard it on local news that the SNAP food assistance benefit for November could be delayed if the shutdown lasts long enough. That would impact those payments. It's a federal program, but administered by each state. So the state registers those who are eligible and have filled out the applications and meet the qualifications to get the food assistance on preloaded or reloadable EBT card, which works kind of like a debit card. And then you have to spend it by the end of that month. Now, if you leave $1 or less on there, the state will not care. But if you leave a significant higher amount on there, the state will think that you're not needing all that assistance and could cut you back or cut you off. But Iowa and a few other states starting in January will be restricting certain items, meaning that you cannot buy things like soda or pop or candy and maybe certain other foods that would otherwise be taxed. Here in Iowa, soda is taxed, candy is taxed, certain other food items are taxed, and like store prepared items like containers of potato salad or macaroni salad or sandwiches or packaged meals that you take home and heat up. They will not be SNAP eligible. And there was some noise here in Iowa about restricting or cutting off garden seeds for food-bearing plants. But in the latest update, I did not see seeds on the list of items that you could not buy with the EBT card. So maybe that part of the rule change didn't take effect. Some other states are doing the same thing or something similar to what Iowa is doing. But as far as next month, so if you normally get like $50 on your EBT card, I'm just throwing that number out there, on say like the 8th of the month, if the shutdown lasts long enough, that reload is not going to happen. So the Department of Agriculture, which administers the benefit on the federal level, is telling states to encourage food banks, food pantries, and other providers of food to the needy to be prepared to give out more and to get more donated in order to cover this extra allotment. That's what I have seen so far. Yeah, property taxes really did not get too much affected by the state legislature. There was a lot of disagreement on that, but there is a limit on how much property taxes can be raised in order to cover like bond issues or infrastructure projects. Like we have one here in Des Moines. The Des Moines Public School System has a bond issue on the November ballot for various projects for the public school system. That's all property tax based. I don't pay property tax since I don't own. I rent, so I'm not affected by the property tax change, but my sisters are. And plus we have the levy option to, if the Des Moines City Council chooses to do that, to put an additional tax levy on I think it's on the utility bills for DART funding for our bus system, because if we didn't have an extra kick for funding, we would have to cut our service by half at least. And that affects people who already have high taxes on their properties. They may not make a whole lot of money to cover much over that, but guess we will find out in January what the legislature may choose to do as far as property taxes go here. Yeah, turning 6 is usually one of those things you really look forward to with a kid growing up. But that had to suck to miss that. You know, he's getting into school. Yeah, really starting to come into his own. Yeah, here in Iowa, the property taxes are usually paid twice a year. In October, as Tim said, he just paid his. And then 6 months from now, unless you pay a whole year in advance, I don't know how some people do it. Or some people may have, they have a mortgage. The mortgage company pays a property tax out of your escrow when it's time to do that. But if your house is paid off, then it's on you to pay the tax. When my brother bought his land down in Arkansas, probably about 20 or so years, he paid cash for the property, so he didn't have a mortgage. He only paid $10,000 for the property, so he pays the tax on it every year. When he was unemployed, he did get help from others to pay that, but he still owns a property down there, but he's staying up here. He's working at a Home Depot here in Des Moines. Well, that could be something in your favor since she didn't show up. Now, you don't show up for important court dates. That's something that you got to deal with yourself. That's on you. I have never been involved in a case where the person that I was in court against failed to show up. I've never had to deal with that. But from what I understand from those who have dealt with that, depending on the nature of the case, if the other party, especially if they are the one who's filed the court action against you, if that person doesn't show up, they lose. I have heard of that happening to other people where the complaining party failed to show up for an important court date, especially when it comes to making the final decision. The judge ruled against that absent person or group in favor of the other party. So that claim made by the person who filed it in the beginning got tossed out. And November 3rd is coming up really soon. Taking a drink of the tea after eating that cookie, yeah, that works. Flavors complement each other. Yeah, some kids start school at 5, some 6. I guess it depends on where their birthday falls. You know, some get to go to preschool first, then kindergarten. Some miss the preschool altogether. And speaking of school, my great niece is a freshman in high school. I still want to see her as a little kid. But next year, she actually wants to take driving lessons. Now I'm going to dip this cookie in the pudding. Yeah, I really hope that that works out in your favor, because those videos and pictures of you and him. You two are definitely a pair. And I just think I got the feeling that he really enjoys being around you. Like, like you're dad to him. Yeah, there are people who will really try to do you dirty like that, especially when you're also dealing with the actual loss. You know, that kid lost a woman who obviously loved him. There, I have known some people who had to deal with a difficult custody thing like that, where the person who should have custody gets lied about, gets lied to. If you file a false police report or a false abuse report, yeah, that's on the person who filed that false report. That is a punishable offense. And if someone does that and gets caught, they're the ones who go to the can. Well, someone had called Child Protective Services on me, I think early 2011. Someone had filed a false claim that I was abusing my kid. If I had a kid, someone forgot to tell me about it because I never knew it. I was asking the two people who came, said, "What does my kid look like? What's the name?" I have no idea. Heck, I've never been with a man. I can't afford the second method, don't qualify for the third method, or the fourth if you count adoption. Said, I got a cat. She's my kid. I had Mila at the time, the tuxedo cat. That cute little black and white face you see in my profile picture. I'm never going to change that picture. But yeah, She's my kid. Pumpkin's my kid. But the Child Protective Services people were a bit confused as to why someone was claiming I was abusing a non-existent kid, so they had to go back onto that person who made that claim and do whatever they do to such scumbags. Just like in 2019, the day I came home from a family trip, one of my sisters dropped some stuff off because I got home early enough. I go hop a bus to a pharmacy, pick up prescriptions. I come home right after I get home from the Walgreens is where I went at the time. I got a call from the police saying I was being assaulted in my apartment. So, well, that's news to me. I just got home not all that long ago. If there's an assault happening, I wasn't there to witness it. Just my cat was there. So yeah, the police came, found nothing out of the ordinary. Except they loved the look on Mila's face. They thought she was the cutest cat they'd seen. But whoever made that, I never did hear anything from that again. So I'm assuming whoever did that was wanting to get me into trouble with the police. Of course, that backfired. I'm just going to dip this cookie in this pudding because it's good. Nope, my in-law niece, her first son was fathered by one man. Yeah, chocolate pudding landed in my chicken broth. I gotta rescue that. But then she married a different man. But this man basically treats the older son like he was his biological son. Now, when he gets older, he will know that he understands that he has a different father. But he also knows that his stepfather is the one who's going to be sticking around. Oh, multi-magnum in the house. Thanks for dropping in. That's okay. To me, you're late if you're catching the replay because it's still live. Yeah, you don't get to see as much on my tray because I ate most of it. 2021 pack halal chicken stew. I had the roasted salted peanuts. I put most of them in there, give it a little crunch, because everything in there but the corn and the chicken basically dissolve in your mouth. I ate all the cranberries, just the straight up cranberries, not the osmotic ones, which I don't like. Halal chocolate pudding. I'm dipping the oatmeal cookie in it. That's a really good combo. A chai tea bag I got from my kitchen, got put into my delicious mug. And no hot drink options in these halal MREs. I seriously think there's something wrong with that. I don't know who made that decision, but the ration packers need to put coffee in all of the MREs instead of getting rid of it. Yeah, it may be expensive. I wonder if that's the reason why the coffees are not in the other MREs, but the halal MREs never had a hot drink option. If you get one that was made by My Own Meals or now La Brie, you get both hot and cold drink options in those. Yeah, Dave is putting out videos again. And Readiness Rations is giving away one of the MRE Star Pink Spoon MREs. The one he's giving away is a beef stew. He ate the chicken and sausage gumbo, I think. It's either gumbo or jambalaya, I think. It's one of those two, but it's chicken and sausage. I'm assuming pork sausage. But MRE Star has the Pink Spoon MREs, and all the proceeds from the sales of those go to breast cancer charity. I think that's pretty awesome that they have decided to do something like that, since October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And in his video, the guy who has the Readiness Rations and the Readiness Reviews channel, he said his grandmother had a nasty fight with that nasty cancer. Yeah, I got a cousin who got it caught early, and she's still here to tell about it. An aunt on my dad's side got hers caught earlier, but then she died of other issues later on. But she was cancer free. when she died of whatever got her in old age. But I have known other people who got their breast cancer caught early enough, and they gave that cancer the shove off. Now, Earl Grey is a good one. I haven't had Earl Grey in a while. Of course, I like to switch up my teas, especially when I'm going to the hot tea. I'd put all those Louisiana quart size tea bags in my tea box. So I'll still cold brew those. But I think after I finish those off, I'll probably just switch to hot teas, or I could hot brew those Louisiana tea bags. It would just fill up my entire carafe of my coffee maker. Here is Holly in the house. Thanks for dropping in. You're looking at not much left of my 2021 pack. Halal certified US MRE chicken stew. There is a bit of a delay from what my phone camera sees and what I'm showing on my tablet. The delay may be different for you because everybody's internet connection varies. So the chicken stew had small bits of pulled chicken. It had a few bits of chicken fat. It had green bell pepper, red bell pepper, had tomato in it, but you really didn't see much tomato. It's more like tomato juice or tomato paste. It did have some seasoning like onion powder, garlic powder, other spices. I thought there was rice in it, but I guess not. I just looked at the ingredients list. There's no rice in it. But even if there was, it would have been mush anyway. The corn still had a little bite to it. The chicken still had the texture to it. I had roasted and salted peanuts. I threw most of them in there. The oatmeal cookie has cinnamon in it, which I like that extra flavor so the cookie itself is not so boring. This is your standard US MRE orange drink. It's not the electrolyte one, just the regular formula. These halal certified MREs packed by Sapaco do not have a hot drink option, so I have chai tea in my delicious mug, which was sent all the way from Poland. This is a halal chocolate pudding. Good flavor. When I first got a hold of one of these, it was like eating sand in the pudding. But they changed that up, improved the texture, so it's a lot more enjoyable. I dipped a cookie in it a few times, so I'm picking up some cookie crumbs in there, but I don't mind that. Yeah, I know a person who is basically doing the same thing. I don't know if it's the same cancer, but he's always been a heavy smoker. He wants to do the treatments, but he doesn't want to do the one thing that would drastically improve his prognosis, and that's give up the cigarettes. Yeah, I should probably do that sometime soon. The last time I was going to have a colonoscopy, which I've explained this before, but for those who are new, a few years ago, I got scheduled for one, but the place where I went to, which was not the hospital, which would have been my preferred choice, that's where I had it done the first time. I was like 48 at the time when I did that. But this place, they told me that I had to do more than just have a driver take me home after it was done. They told me I had to have a permanent legal guardian, and I had to be permanently living with someone and not live alone anymore. As if I was a minor or a dependent adult incapable of taking care of myself. I told him I was not going to stoop that low. I was not going to give up my rights to make my own decisions. So I walked. So I've done the test, the at-home test. So I did that last year. That showed nothing. I got another one. I'll be doing that one pretty soon. So by the time the result comes in, it'll be in my doctor's office, and it'll be in time for the next time I go see my regular doctor. I might even go ahead and get a mammogram done. I did that last year. But I haven't tried to book that, but I may do that next month. You know, with a history of cancer in my family, I'd rather err on the side of caution. Yeah, I've I got two other, or actually I got three other relatives who have tried to quit, but then something stressed them out, and then they went right back to smoking. But I'm hoping that with this other person we all know who is dealing with an aggressive cancer but has not chosen to give up cigarettes, I'm hoping that they will at least make a more conscious effort to try to give them up. Now, that would save one person a bunch of money because now that she is no longer receiving payments from the Department of Homeland Security because she took the buyout from TSA, she is not getting payments anymore, so she has to plan her next move, decide what she wants to do at least for a few more years until she can actually start drawing Social Security. Because right now she is not old enough to do that. And because she is not disabled, she will not go the route of what my sister, who had to have an ankle surgery repeated because the first time the problem wasn't completely fixed. And the healing has taken a whole lot longer than she had hoped for. So she has gone to permanent disability. And because she's done that, she got to also get Medicare for her health insurance, which is a whole lot different than what she was getting from her last job at a daycare center. Yeah, some people, well, in a hospital you can't do that anyway because they stopped allowing smoking inside the buildings for quite a number of years. In some places that may have been longer than others, but I remember back in the day when there used to be a smoking room in inside of the hospital cafeteria, or there would be like a sunroom or a room that could be closed off where people could go smoke but not go outside. Now, you want to light up, you got to go outside. And depending on what type of a facility it is, you may have to leave the property entirely. Just like at the DART bus station, kids who vape have been told that they either have to leave the property if they want to hit their vapes, or they just have to put it away. But I still see people lighting up while they're waiting for buses. I see the cigarette buses down on the ground. I shut my AC off, I think on the 3rd or 4th of this month. There have been a couple of days where I've been tempted to turn it back on, but I just keep my bedroom window and my slider cracked. I cannot open it all the way because if I do, Pumpkin will start climbing the screen. So as much as I would like to have it open farther, I can't do that without keeping her off the screen. Yeah, I still run my tower fan in my bedroom. And just before I go to bed, I aim it at the bed. That way I still got some air circulation. I probably won't turn the heat on until it gets a whole lot colder. It got into the upper 40s last night here, but I still have my windows cracked, have my fan running. If my ceiling fan worked, I would still have it running, but because it got messed up last year when my apartment got flooded, the fan doesn't work. The light sockets still do, or at least 3 of them work, but I only have bulbs in 2 of them. I don't need a bulb in the one that's aimed at the slider. You know, 62 with the window open, I will be loving it. Earlier today, I went out onto my deck and I collected all the leaves that had fallen onto my deck and put them into my compost. Yeah, my plants are pretty much, well, when you don't get any sun on them, you're really not going to do a whole lot. Even my basil that normally goes bonkers, next year I might have to go back to the same spot where I had basil before because it did great there. But this year, I'm still going to get some. But some of my others just really didn't do squat. They would start to sprout and then they would just crap out. I didn't get any flowers off of the pink dandelion seeds that I planted. But I'm just going to leave that one. I'm not going to pull that one. You know, dandelions have a long taproot. I'm hoping that just by leaving that in the ground, I really want to see a pink dandelion. They're non-GMO heirloom seeds I got from. See, I got some of them from M.I. Gardner. I got some from Baker Creek, and a few others. I got seeds from several companies. Even my greens didn't do a whole lot. I just don't get the sun. My deck faces north, but at least I try. See, we got up to, I think, 62 here. Yeah, a little warmer tomorrow. Today, the wind was a bit frisky, just like yesterday. We did get a little rain. It was light rain. I was not able to capture any of it in any of the trays or other containers I just put on my deck. If it's a heavy enough rain for long enough, I do capture some of that water, and then next time I water the plants, I use that water instead of using the. Otherwise, I use tap water. I don't have any other water stored except tap water. Yeah, probably you might be getting a cross breeze. You know, you still got your windows open. Here, I'm at the end of the building. I only have the two north. I got my slider on my bedroom window, both on the north side. The hallway window, until a few years ago, it could be opened, but people kept pushing out the screen. People still do that in the laundry room. A screen's got to get popped back in again. People like to push it out. They smoke in the laundry room and then they throw their butts out after they pop the screen out. Not supposed to smoke inside the building, but people do. Oh, yeah, when a drastic temperature change, I really feel it in my joints. My right knee has no cartilage in it, so it's bone on bone friction. And when I feel that drastic weather change, oh boy. But I can't let that stop me from doing what I want to do. I go to the mosque, I volunteer, do stuff there. Last weekend we had a clothing exchange / giveaway. I was there for pretty much the whole time of it. And I was helping arrange stuff. And when one of the hang racks kept collapsing, said, "This one is no good. it's dropped twice. We need to just get rid of it. So the person who brought it took it apart. I don't know. She owns it. She may just get rid of it completely since it just doesn't want to stay together. But yeah, there were some things that people picked up that they could use there. There's kids' clothes. The items that I had brought, which were not very many, but they got picked up. And I got a couple of things myself. I showed in my in that first part of my shopping haul video where I showed all the non-food items. And then there are a couple of things that someone brought that we are keeping at the mosque for use. A vertical paper towel holder that just sits on a counter or table. And then a little tray with handles. And then the utensils that I took that someone had brought, I'm going to give those to the White Eagle Powwow Committee for use in our kitchen that we set up for the volunteers and performers and presenters to get their meals from. And any of the attendees, if they want any of that food, they would have to put a donation into the box. But we do have food trucks. And I did hit up a couple of them. I hit up one that had ice cream bars and one that had the bubble teas. They didn't have the flavor that I wanted to try, so I got the chocolate bubble drink, which is pretty interesting. I enjoyed that. It was something different. But I figured those utensils will be put to good use, especially that longer handled wood spoon that's almost like a ladle. That'll be good for serving out of the roaster pans which some of the food is put in. And we had to have extra utensils because we provided food that was intended for people who have dietary restrictions such as gluten-free. So I took some of my own utensils for that, plus to have some spares in case we needed them, because sometimes a couple people brought additional food. I took what was left of my blueberry compote that I made for our International Food Day that we had at a mosque a couple weeks prior to that. Then I'd froze it, and I took it frozen to the powwow. Some of it had thawed out, so what was pourable. Someone had a couple of pitchers, so poured it into there. And then someone took some of that home. One person took one of the bags that I had not opened, and I took the rest home, and I ate that myself. Oh yeah, yeah. After you can that chili, you wait a few months before you eat it. that'll probably taste 20 times better than the day you make it. Oh, yeah. I would love to be able to can, but the stove I have here, the one time I tried slow cooking on it, I wanted to do a 2 hour cook. It shut off after an hour, and I couldn't turn any of the burners back on. And the big burner on the stove does not work at all. And the small one that's behind it, I don't think that works either. So I only have the two left ones that I use, and they're small. Plus, I don't have the appropriate shelving or storage for jars. I dry fill jars, and they're just in boxes. That's what I do with any of the jars I put dry food in. But I would really love to get a lot of my buckets out of here and into an off-site location. But without a vehicle, I can't do that myself. Yeah, beef is expensive. That pack of beef breakfast sausage that I picked up at Halal Groceries, it's halal beef sausage. It's like $3 more than the first time I ever bought it. Yeah, the beef bacon is a whole lot more expensive than it used to be. Now the halal meats are more expensive, but I'll still get it once in a while. I go to other places to get just the regular ground beef. I usually get 80-20 or 85-15, but usually it's 80-20. But I will opt for other meats, like I got ground chicken, I got ground turkey. Being Muslim, I don't eat pork. I was hoping to get some venison, but the person who would supply it either has given it to other people or they just haven't given it out, because the guy who gets it, he hunts, but he doesn't eat it, so he gives it to other relatives. But because there was a death in the family not too long ago, all that's been put on hold. So they are dealing with settling his estate, and some of the food that I showed in my food haul actually came from his house. His adult children and their wives, they split up all the food that was there among other people. As they were cleaning out the house before they decide what they're going to do with the property. So that's how I ended up with some of that food. Yeah, my mom got some of it. Yeah, my oldest sister, being the wife of one of this man's children, she got to take some of it, and then she split some of it off between me and my mom. But Halal means that the animal is slaughtered in a specific manner according to Islamic dietary rules, and similar to what kosher is for the Jews. The animal has to be unblemished. It has to be within a certain age range. And then after it's slaughtered, with God's name pronounced on it, then it is completely bled out before it's butchered. And then usually hand butchered. So that's what makes a meat certified halal. It is done according to specific rules. So that chicken that was in this main, that bird was slaughtered in a specific manner prior to butchering. And the facility is inspected by a knowledgeable Muslim who is well versed in dietary rules and procedures, just like when you go to a place that sells kosher meats, the same thing. Everything has to be done according to Jewish dietary rules, and those places are inspected and certified if they meet those conditions. So that's pretty much the gist of it. My mom didn't do a whole lot of canning, but she did make a lot of jams and jellies. Her favorite one was the green pepper jelly. Now, her mother canned. Yeah, back in our younger days, we used to go to my maternal grandparents' house, and in their basement was the shelves of the green beans she canned. She canned peaches. I don't remember all that was down there, but I think she had other beans, but I do remember seeing the jars of the green beans and the peaches. The peas from her garden never made it to the canner because every time we were over there, we would pick all the peas and just pop the pods and eat them right there. We would strip her garden of all the peas. She canned other things as well, but for some reason I can just remember seeing the peaches and the green beans. Yeah, when my maternal grandmother was younger, yeah, when my mom was a little girl, they lived in a more rural location before they moved to the city. So they had chickens. But I never saw that place because obviously I wasn't around then. So my mother, being an only child, she would When she got old enough, she was helping to take care of the chickens, collect the eggs, and when it came time to process the chickens, she was helping with that. Preparing the chickens for cooking or canning. I don't know about my dad's mother, what life was like for him when he was a kid. He was born here in Iowa, but I'm sure it was the same thing until my dad's mother moved to Omaha and she got a job as a nurse in the infant ward at the hospital where I was born. In fact, she was working the day I was born, so she was taking care of me after I was born. Now, we moved around a lot when we were kids, so we really didn't have much of a garden. In some places, we didn't have any at all. Because we rented everywhere we lived, it's just something that we really couldn't have. There may have been a few potted plants, but nothing in the ground. But sometimes not even that. And in one place, we did not even spend an entire year before we had to move again. But being able to grow stuff even on my deck, I'm happy I'm able to at least do a little. Because of what gets blown in the wind, I'm not sure if I got something in some of my pots other than what I planted, because I'm seeing things that do not look like what I think they're supposed to be. So I haven't done a video out there in a while. In one of my pots, I might have had a tree seed or something somehow get planted in there by the wind. So it was just getting leggy and woody. But then all the leaves have popped off. I'm pulling that. But my big square planters with the greens, I'll get a few leaves pop up here and there, and then nothing. But I've got all these other things blowing in, so I have no idea what it is. I really just can't keep them out. I don't know if they're seeds from the birch. There's a birch tree that is right in front of my slider. And then on the other side of the sidewalk, to the left of the mailboxes as you're facing the street, now we have a sycamore. Now that produces a nut, which drops down. And I've seen those get chewed on by the squirrels. So I don't know what comes out of those birches. when they're, I don't know what kind of seeds they drop. I would actually have to look that up. But we got 2 birches on the property, 2 sycamores, and there is a walnut tree on one side of the parking lot, and there's a couple of oak trees over there. So people don't, when the nuts are dropping, people don't like to park their cars over there because they'll just get bonked. Yeah, I planted what's called the watermelon radish. It's supposed to be white outside and kind of a dark pink opposite the common radish. But I still have not pulled those up to see if I got any radishes. Only I think 3 of those plants had survived. I had more, but I think I'm not sure if I have any radishes. Since I don't get direct sun on them. I have no idea what I'm going to get. Yeah, I was hoping to. Yeah, this is the first time I've tried to grow something. You call it a root crop. I've never tried carrots. Although I do have carrot seeds, I've just never tried them. I tried doing onions from like the onion top or the onion bottom. That didn't work, and then I had some really small onions, so I just planted those directly to see if those would. They didn't do much. I tried doing that with a couple of lumps of ginger. That didn't do squat. That was a couple years ago. Last year I didn't plant anything because of the flood that happened to my apartment. I had to have stuff out on my deck for quite a long time while my apartment got dried out and the ceiling and walls repaired. And then everything was put back in kind of haphazard while I was away. I was not here to supervise where things are placed, so everything's a bit still disjointed around here. Nothing is how I want it to be, but I would need some serious help trying to rearrange things. But like I said earlier, I want to get some of my buckets out of here to an off-site location because that would definitely free up space. You know, I definitely cannot grow anything that requires a lot of direct sun. So I tried a different flower. Marigolds never popped for me, so I tried nasturtium. They never popped up. Even my borage didn't do so well. I think that one's pretty much a bust. Even my cilantro, I didn't get a whole lot of flower, so I don't think I've got much of the seeds. Coriander is the seed of the cilantro, by the way, for those who may not know that. But I got a decent amount of a mint. I even planted catnip. I don't think that did too well either, but I've tried putting things in different pots. But I'll just have to try something else next year, I guess. Ooh, the rainbow carrots or the multicolored carrots, I think those would be neat to have. I have eaten them. I've eaten them cooked. I've never eaten them any of those other colored carrots raw, but I have eaten them cooked. And they, to me, they taste like your basic orange carrot. But I think the look of them is cool. I don't know if I can do carrots here. I would have to look at chamomile to see if it is one of those that requires direct sun, because if it is, I don't think I'm going to be able to do that. I don't have an indoor setup here because I have an active cat. And I just don't know of a way I could keep her away from something like that. It would have to be inaccessible to me in order to be inaccessible to her. Yeah, some people can do those varieties where others can't. Yeah, finished off the orange drink. But the seeds that I do have that I cannot grow here, I can always barter them. I have a few of those, I guess they call them seed vaults, where the seeds are sealed up inside of a container as well as being sealed up inside of their packets. Yeah, my other seeds I store in the plastic coffee containers. So I got my herb seeds in one, I got flower seeds in another, I got other veggie seeds in another one, and I got fruit seeds in another one. And I have one that has the packets that I actually used that I've opened up and planted some of the seeds from. So at least I have them somewhat organized. Like I got, someone had brought a couple of melons to the mosque a while back, and the one had been, I took one home and I thought another one was going to take the other one, so I left it there in the fridge. But she was gone, and then I was gone for, I think that was in the summer. So I checked on that other one. It was really starting to rot, so nope, it had to go. I told her I had to toss that other one, but the one I did bring home. That cantaloupe, I have no idea what kind of cantaloupe, but I collected all the seeds out of that, cleaned them up, and dried them up, so. And then I put them in one of those little pill pouch bags. They're about maybe that wide. Get those in 50 packs in Walgreens or CVS. Walmart has them. I even saw them once in Hy-Vee. So I got one of those packs that has not been opened yet, and then they have another one that I have taken a few of those little tiny Ziploc bags out of them, put seeds in. I label them, of course. Yeah, I saved the seeds from that cantaloupe. I can't grow a melon here, but I could definitely pass them on to someone else who might be able to plant them. Now, speaking of tubs, my compost bin is one of those totes that someone had left out in the grass. It was there for about a week. You know what? My bucket that I've been currently using, which was a tree watering bucket that lost its handle. So, you know what? I'm going to dump all that compost from that green bucket into that tub that I had brought up from outside. So that is my compost bin. Then when it gets cold outside, when I want to empty the little bucket that's underneath my sink, where I put my coffee grounds and other plant scraps, onion peels and things like that, I'll just open my slider just enough to dump that into that green bucket that I keep right outside by the slider. So that's what I'll do during the winter when I empty that little bucket that I keep under my sink. Yeah, I don't have spider plants, but apparently I got spiders, so I got webs on the deck, and they're collecting leaves. I don't think they're collecting bugs. So I just leave them alone. I don't mess with them. Figure if a spider can make a living there, if it can catch bugs, they can stay. Oh, if it gets too cold, then I'll probably just go ahead and clean up those webs and toss them over the deck rail. But for now, those webs will stay put. The only time I ever tried growing a plant inside here was when I got a mystery seed. With actually three of them. There were four, but one of them broke. So that one went into the compost. But turns out that was an acorn squash plant. I had little tiny ones start to grow, so I'm assuming the wind must have pollinated the flowers. But the little squash would start to form, and they would just fall off. Said nope. I'll let the critters have those. Then the one that did make it only ended up to be about the size of a dollar coin. So I did cut it open. I warmed it up a little bit, and I ate it. It tasted good, but I didn't get much more than enough for a spoonful. But it was starting to get cold, so I brought it inside and I put it up on top of my cabinet. And I was trying to keep it up where Pumpkin couldn't get at it. And I was trying to water it up there, but now the vine is shriveling up. It's time to knock this one off, so at least I got to taste a little bit of that acorn squash. Let's see, I'm gonna grab this. I grabbed this other, I call it my backup phone that really doesn't have service on it. We're supposed to get down to 47 here. So not too bad. it won't be cold enough for me to want to close up the windows. It's got to get a lot colder for that to happen for me. I still don't like being too hot, especially at night. Yep, finished off my tea. Now, I have seen pictures of those. A lot of people are seeing the ones that are almost all dark colored. Very few of the light colored or the two-tone ones. But being that I'm in the middle of the city and I'm not on the ground floor, I don't think I would see those little weather predictors here. I'm guessing they're ground dwellers. I could be wrong. I've only seen pictures of other people posting them on their Facebook. So I have never seen one of those in person. Yeah, I've seen pictures of people posting the mantises. A couple years ago, there was one right by the door of my building. I kind of coaxed it to move off because I didn't want it to get stuck inside or caught in the door. But that's the only time I've ever seen a mantis here. Some have posted pictures of really big ones. Some of they're almost brown. Then others are posting pictures of the green ones. The one that I saw in the building was it was a green one, but it had a little bit of brown in it. It wasn't too big. But I just didn't want it to get caught in the door. So I kind of coaxed it to move off. And guess it hopped down into where the plants are by on one side of the steps. I've never seen a mantis on my deck though. I don't think I have enough plants there for one to be happy. Not too many other people here have outdoor spaces like decks or ground floor patio slabs. Not everybody has plants here. I think one or two others do, but that's it. I have no idea. I have no idea about the other building in the complex because I don't go over there. I don't have a need to go over there, so I don't. We don't have an on-site rental office. So when I first moved in, we did have, so I was going over there at least, once a month to pay the rent with the money order. I was doing that with the money orders. And then that's where we had to fill out paper maintenance requests. But since everything is done through an app now, with the management company changes, no more on-site management. We even had a maintenance guy who lived in one of the apartments, but that also ended. So I do everything through the app as far as that sort of thing. Now, some people are saying that those little caterpillars, they're all dark colored, some are two-tone. I guess some are a light color, but most of the pictures that I've seen are the really dark ones. But I have never seen one in person. Like I said, if they're ground dwellers, I have no idea if they could even make it up into my deck. The butterfly or moth that produce that caterpillar would have to deposit the egg on my deck instead of that caterpillar itself getting up here. I have no idea if that would even work. I think it would be neat to see one of those in person. Who knows, maybe they're not city slickers. I just put that heater sleeve into my bag that I'm using for trash since don't need to show it anymore. Yep, I think I'm going to go ahead and call this one good. I want to thank you all for hanging out with me tonight, for checking out this halal chicken stew. It had been a few years since I last had it. So I thought, yeah, I think I'm going to go ahead and pull this one out. So next week I'll come up with something different. I got a bunch of 22 and 24 pack regular MREs. I got 2 Canadian IMPs. I got 3 more Halal ones. So that's what I got for upcoming rations, at least for the, not quite the rest of the year, at least. Well, maybe, I know for sure into December, but I'll probably, like I said earlier, if I can get a case of those Pink Spoon MRE Star rations after I get paid at the end of this month, I definitely want to do that because I would like to try out some of those menus myself. But I do want to thank you all for hanging out with me tonight. And for those who have come in for the first time, I hope you do come back. I do this every Sunday, 7 p.m. US Central Time, since I'm in Iowa. So I will post up once I make my decision next weekend when I'm going to pull out of the old ration box. And I hope to see you then. Thanks for watching and catch you on the flip side.